According to a CBS News Nation Tracker poll out Sunday, nearly 2 in 3 Americans think the nation's economy is in good shape, and many credit President Trump. 35% think the president's policies are responsible for the economy's current state. 33% think the policies are somewhat responsible, while 11% believe the president's policies have nothing to do with a positive economy. Anthony Salvanto is our CBS News Director of Elections and Surveys, and he joins me now. All right, Anthony. So good numbers on the economy and Trump policies here getting at least some of the credit. What is driving those views?
Yeah, that connection between the way things are and the credit that you give the president is really important. Obviously, we've been talking a lot about the midterms coming up, even though it's 6 months away. You know, the candidates are gearing up, the primaries are going along, and you know, the economy is always a big driver of how people vote. So we start watching that, even amid the swirl of other news, and there's plenty of other news out there. It's one of the things that pollsters keep an eye on. As you start to see the president get more and more credit for what most Americans say is a pretty good economy, that ties him in then to it even more, and it also could affect how people vote, because he's going to be a big factor in the midterms, of course. And so we watch that pretty carefully. But the biggest thing, another big thing that jumped out at me in the poll was the way that there's a split between not just how things are, but whether or not you feel the president is working for people like you. So we asked folks, you know, do you think he's working for big businesses, the wealthy, or working class, the middle class, and people like you? And I noticed that there's a big difference between his strongest supporters, and they're about a quarter of the population now. He's got more support than that, but these are his strongest supporters. And they feel that he's working for them. And there's a big drop-off between them and his more conditional supporters who are saying, yeah, we're waiting and seeing. We're jury's out, we support him, but we'll see. And they are more likely to feel that he's working as much for big business and the wealthy and not as much as for people like them. I think that's a place where we need to watch as the campaigns unfold.
Yeah, so how is all of this likely to affect midterms?
Well, the president's always sort of on the ballot, if you will, right? He's always part of people's calculus. There's a big part where we ask, you know, are you optimistic going forward, or are you pessimistic? And a lot of folks say that they're unsure. That's a place where I think you'll find argument. And then we're talking about the president as a figure. Of course, the Democrats have major political figures on their side. So we asked, especially for Democrats, because you've got splits in the party among folks who want to go with a more progressive, more liberal agenda. Some say that they should be backing a more moderate candidate, someone who'll say that they'll work and get along with the president. All of that is in play during the midterms. Democrats are pretty split on that. But then when you look at whether they would like a candidate endorsed by someone like Bernie Sanders versus a candidate endorsed by someone like Nancy Pelosi, then Democrats tell you that they're more inclined to go with somebody backed by Sanders. And then you look at independents, and that's even more the case. Bernie Sanders, much more positive influence among independents than Nancy Pelosi has.
Interesting, the populists within the Democratic Party. All right, Anthony Salvanto. Anthony, thank you so much.
You're welcome.